So welcome to another edition of the Diversity Amplification series. Today I have two amazing guests from Cardinal Health. I have Jessica McMeans, who is an information security and risk engineer. So congrats, Jessica. I know you just got moved into this role from a senior analyst. So congrats on that.
Thank you very much.
And I have Ace Moore, who's a senior information security engineer also at Cardinal Health. Welcome, Ace.
Welcome. Thanks. Appreciate you for having us.
Absolutely. So let's start with you, Jessica. Just talk about your journey and how you ended up where you are today at Cardinal.
It's kind of interesting. I think a lot of people know I started in risk and finance related roles, and that's been most of my career. A couple of years ago, I decided to take some time off to be home full time and had always been interested in this space. So I kind of used that time off as an opportunity to acquire some new skills and start learning to see if it's something I really wanted to pursue and could make possible. And during that time, I have acquired a couple certifications. I stumbled upon the SANS Diversity Cyber Academy, which was great for me, and completed that. And so that's kind of how I ended up on this path.
God, we're going to double click a lot since you covered a lot of ground over there. We're going to go deeper. Ace, what's your path to where you are today?
Oh man, it's been a very rocky road, I would say. So I actually started out maybe about 5 or 6 years ago. I started out as sales. So I was working at a Verizon store. This was literally right after college. Started out actually no. So I started out working at an advertising agency as an account manager, and then I actually got laid off from that job. And then I started working at Verizon doing sales, which is similar to what I was doing previously. But I started getting my master's while I was working at Verizon. Verizon, a great company. And I kind of shifted into an IT role with Verizon. My boss at the time, he was pretty, great as far as, career advancement goes for just like the people who worked under him. So he kind of got me into the IT perspective at Verizon. So we had a corporate office in the town that I was living at the time. Started there while I was completing my master's. Then I decided to leave Verizon and applied to a small accounting firm, which was a bit of a small shop in St. Louis. And it was about 700 employees, but the actual shop itself was about 2 to 3 help desk guys, a network engineer, system admin, and then I eventually created my own role as basically being the security guy on the team. So I did that for a while. Then I decided I wanted to get up out of St. Louis. So I started applying to a bunch of different places. Applied to places in London, applied to places in Amsterdam, applied to a bunch of places in Texas, California, South Carolina, all over the US and world. I was just like, this is a technology field, so I'm pretty sure I can work anywhere. So I ended up getting a couple job offers at a bunch of different states. And I'm currently located in Dallas right now. So I ended up taking a job in Dallas, which is, like I said, where I currently am. Landed a job at State Farm as a threat intelligence analyst. Did that for a little bit. Then I helped build out the threat hunt program at State Farm. And then I was a part of this initiative last year. It's called Share the Mic in Cyber, where it connected me and Samara, which is my current manager. And she offered me a position, or told me to, she actually told me that she had a role open. I was like, yeah, cool. I'll take a look at it. Compensation is important. I mean, that's the reason why we work. So it wasn't, initially, for the role that I saw, I was like, it's a little bit lower than what I'm making right now, or not really what I'm looking for. So she was like, don't worry, I had another position coming up soon. So she told me the numbers for that one. Then I applied, ended up landing a spot here. Been loving it ever since. And that's kind of basically my whole career trajectory thus far.
Wow, definitely non-traditional.
Yeah.
So Jessica, again, you touched upon something which I think a lot of people have in their head at some point, right? Which is this the career path that I want? And you look at something else, or I look at somebody else and say, hey, probably that's what I need to do. But the jump from where you are to where you want to be is sometimes too much for people. Right. And again, you just kind of blitz through your journey about taking time off, sitting at home and working through the real hands-on self-training and self-learning and being able to land a job. talk a little bit about how somebody who is in a position like you were at that point about needing to take time off and yet utilizing that as a springboard to something else. What advice would you have for them given your own experience?
Well, I would say, to kind of answer your question and also expand upon it a little bit, if you're interested in the field, don't hesitate to reach out to others and see what they're doing. I was fortunate in that since I was in risk roles, I worked with a lot of risk partners across the organization. So I worked frequently with IT risk folks, so I had a good idea of what they did. My husband was also a pen tester at the time, so I was pretty familiar with the path. And if you're not in the same position I was, I would really encourage you to seek out people in the field. That's one thing I've really learned, is that this field is much more collaborative and eager to share than my previous experiences. So that's been exciting. And then for actually pivoting, I was very fortunate in that I was home, so probably had a little more time to dedicate than someone working full time. But I also have 4 kids too, so it wasn't that I was just sitting home doing nothing, reading books all day. So, and you have to be dedicated and committed to sleeping less, basically. And if you really want to make that pivot, and part of your journey is acquiring certifications and learning, then you just have to compromise somewhere.
Got it. And again, Ace, coming back to you, and you mentioned your manager back at Verizon, and then Samara that you met through the Share the Mic in Cyber. So talk a little bit about how the role of a manager actually helped you, again, get you up to where you are right now, but also these industry initiatives like Share the Mic in Cyber, where you're actually putting yourself out there. Yeah. How was the first step, which was obviously must have been uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing as far as like putting yourself out there and doing these type of initiatives that are kind of meant to, uplift and put you in, rooms that you generally wouldn't be able to, be in, is to, take the risk, be personable, don't really be someone who's, feels that the world owes you anything. I'll always go into a lot of situations and, trying to learn as much as I possibly can. Even if it's just, a small conversation. So in similar instance, with the Share the Mic in Cyber, I was paired with the former CISO of Twitter, Mike. He really great guy. He and I chatted. We talked quite a bit. He kind of told me how he got to his position, the company that he's working on now, and I took some of the advice he gave me, and I still kind of implement that into like my day-to-day work. And so, yeah, I think, just taking that risk and putting yourself out there, and then being like a sponge and just learning as much as you possibly can kind of, allows for you to really just, stand out and, be, admirable candidate to, a lot of these companies that want to bring you on, and, also want to, create their diversity as well, too. So I think those are some of the tactics and ways that I, look at, especially when I'm doing some of these things like Share the Mic in Cyber initiative. You have another question as well too. I think I missed.
No, so I was actually going to get to that second point, which is really the ability for you to give back while you're learning at the same time. I know you're a professor as well. Oh, yeah. So talk a little bit about like how do you kind of maintain those two hats while there's Ace the learner, but also Ace the giver?
Yeah. So for me, teaching is like, so I'm a college professor here in Dallas, and I teach at a couple other schools as well. I think that it's fulfilling because I'm really big on just I have this goal in my mind that I want to kind of just change the look of what tech looks like in cybersecurity in general, what it looks like from the outside, because I'm gonna be as bold as possible throughout this entire podcast as well. In general, you can see from the outside looking in, if I was I am a Black male, or if I'm a woman, or if I'm someone of the LGBTQ community, if I'm on the outside looking in, I want to, come into the field, I'll see nothing but white males. Yeah. And so I'm here to, I have this goal in my mind where I really just want to, change the face of what, tech and then cybersecurity specifically looks like from the outside in. So I think a lot of my goal generally when when I have new classes or start new courses where I'm the instructor, I try to put an effort into giving a little bit more attention to those marginalized groups that may be in my course. But I also everything's still fair, obviously. But I definitely try to put a definite effort to step aside and talk to them, see exactly, tell them how I got to where I am. And obviously, if any other student wants to do that as well too, I open my doors. I have an open door policy with all of my students as well. So that's one way of doing it, because the educational system is one of the gateways to our field a lot of ways. So I'm always definitely trying to bring people that are women, people that are from marginalized groups into the field. Especially we don't see a lot of Black women in this field. That's another thing that I've noticed. So I have a couple women who are African American, and I try to really push opportunities to them so they can get their foot in the door a lot of times too.